Adventure is in my blood. Finding treasures big or small and having fun is what it's all about. With my wife Melissa and our 3 kids, life is pretty full. But there isn't a mountain we can't climb together. This isn't your ordinary antique store. My name is Alex Archbold and this is Curiosity Inc.
So the best place to start is probably with the front of the building. If you remember back a while ago, we had Dave come and do this really cool Drury Dry Ginger Ale sign on the side, which is a replica of a 1940s ginger ale that we sold here in Canada. They don't make it anymore. We've got the front all done with my store name up top, which looks like an old-fashioned cola sign. And I think it's about time we go for a walkthrough. Best place to start, going through the front door. When you walk in the door, you're greeted by a 1/3 scale Model T racer with a real working wall 4-cylinder engine. It's a one-of-a-kind piece, and I want that to be there because it kind of sets off the mood that this is a store with some unusual things. We've got our fortune teller Zoltar off to the side, who's ready to talk and give us a fortune at a moment's notice. Some custom-made lamps, the old billiard sign, and of course, this was a billiard hall and barbershop at one point back in 1913. They used to have the barber chairs up in the front windows and the billiard tables at the back. So it's kind of fitting to have that there. You might remember though, that we also did this really big, cool display. This is an old standard electric time clock. This would have been in maybe like high school, and it would have run all the other electric clocks in the school. I didn't have all the guts and pieces for it, so we ended up turning it into a shelving system for our watches, and it's doing a fantastic job. It looks super cool. One of my favorite things I think we've put in the store so far. We've got the Venetian princess here guarding the candy counter, and although we're not a full-on candy store, we don't really want to go down that road too much because we're an antique shop, but we do have a selection of hard candies in the little old-fashioned jars, pretty much just what you would have found back in the old days. Everything from rock candy, remember this style with the crystals, and then you get the licorice pipes and then the Edinburgh rock candy. So lots of fun stuff. And of course, what better to have displayed in your showcase by candy, some cool old-fashioned toys and collectibles. And your store wouldn't be complete without Batman and Robin. And we still do have a collection of Mary's pottery. We were saving some of the pieces. I didn't have them priced or for sale at the old store. They are coming out and I've got a few more pieces to add in, but we have a nice little selection of Mary's pots. Of course, if you watch the Potter's House series, you remember that she was our mystery potter whose home we bought and ended up finding all this wonderful pottery inside of some of the more special pieces we kept back at the store. We have some newer hats and some retro t-shirts and things for people. And as we come along, we see the penny counter that I put together. This was pulled out of that same abandoned store where we got the shelving from, and I did the application of pennies to the top here using glue and Varathane. Turned out really, really good. And behind us, we see we've got a real brass steam train that's standard scale, built in the 1930s by a retired engineer. It's the North Star Line, Pennsylvania Railway. It's a very cool piece, and it does operate on real steam. We've got a fighter pilot helmet, just all kinds of neat stuff. And then we kind of get into our music department where there's radios, musical instruments. There's a Silvertone tube amp hiding back there. So everywhere you look, there's going to be something cool. If you don't recognize what that is the headlight off of a steam tractor. They also use that same type of headlight on a steam train around the turn of the century. It's been re-nickeled. It's in fantastic shape. It's 100% complete. Pretty rare piece in that shape, so it's nice to have. We've got our advertising clock I picked up in Colorado. We've got guitars, all kinds of things. I can't believe that I'm here in this moment right now where this has gone from being sort of a dream and a vision to now a reality. Saturday will tell me if we did a good enough job and if we put together an interesting location for people. I sure hope so. It's been an awful lot of work bringing this together, and I think that it's gonna pay off. We're certainly trying to add some interest to the city of Edmonton, trying to add another tourist destination. We've got lots of neat stuff to show people when they come through. I feel like I have most everything ready and set up at the store, except for one thing. This, a little entry bell. So I really don't know what we're gonna buy today. I think he has some military items, maybe some prints or pictures. It's gonna be an adventure. We really don't know. So we're gonna go up and check it out and see what he has, but we're here. So already I'm seeing all kinds of neat stuff. These are fantastic images. So do you go by Robert or Bob?
By Robert.
Okay, well Robert, you'll have to tell me, so what exactly is it that you do?
Well, I live here in Stony Plain, Alberta, Canada, and I'm probably the only Star Wars artist, full-time Star Wars artist that I know in this country. I've been doing Star Wars now for about 10 years. I was previously doing World War II aviation combat for the previous 15 years, and then George Lucas got a hold of me, and I ended up down in Skywalker Ranch in his office, and he said, "Would you like to start doing Star Wars?" And I said, "Sure, yeah."
So you work, now this isn't somebody who's just doing this as a hobby. You're actually hired by Lucas and the actual corporations to do their art.
Well, I was originally doing it, the first 12 months I was doing work directly for George Lucas. I was doing oil paintings on canvas and pencil drawings that he would view and accept or reject for a book that he was putting together called Star Wars Visions. And after that I was attending Comic-Cons and selling lots of original drawings. Currently I'm under contract to the Marvel licensor in Los Angeles, and I'm doing mostly Star Wars, or I've been doing horror for the last 3 months at their request, and as of yesterday, I'm back on Star Wars full-time.
Well, that's outstanding. And so for anybody watching who wants to get into this business, what advice do you have to give them?
For a young artist, an aspiring artist, I would say never take no for an answer. You just have to roll over problems, and persistence tires adversity.
It's great advice. Now that's a workshop. All these great lights going on and colors.
Yeah.
So this is one that you were working on just yesterday.
Yeah, I finished this one yesterday, Alex, and it's titled Faster Than Lightning, referring, of course, to the Millennium Falcon on Hoth. And although the Falcon was not actually shown in that movie in action on Hoth, I've kind of imagined this scene with the AT-ATs and the TIE fighters coming in, and as you can see, this one's being hit, presumably by this X-Wing. And we have more X-Wings coming in for the attack on the right side.
Those of you watching at home, it's just as nice in person as what you see in front of me on camera here. This is the real deal, guys. Outstanding work. So Stephen, you got to think that's pretty cool.
That's a really good drawing.
Well, this painting behind you is an original oil on canvas titled Red Planet Rebels, and it's about 4 feet wide, as you can see. And
yeah, it's a nice, beautiful size.
Viewed by George Lucas, and three of my paintings went to into this book, Star Wars Visions.
So those diehards at home that might have that book, it's been published or is it out yet?
The limited edition, of which this is one copy, there were only 500 made. And as you can see, the painting in front of us, Red Planet Rebels, is actually, George Lucas chose to have it in the book across the centerfold.
There it is, right in the book.
A second painting in the book that I did called Overlord Betrayal, again across the centerfold, which is a great honor.
And so how long would it take you to do a piece like this?
Routinely about 4 weeks to do these oil on canvases, and George Lucas bought probably, I think, 3 or 4 of my originals, including World War II canvases. He also he bought this one. This is in George's private collection. It's called Now My Enemy, and it's a lightsaber duel between Ahsoka, who is George's favorite female character from Star Wars, and of course Darth Vader and the burning Jedi temple in the background.
And there's you. There's your name, and here I am amongst greatness with such art. That's fantastic. So if you're thinking of purchasing one of Robert's fine pieces of art, you might have to look closely and carefully on places such as eBay or other auction marks because he's under contract. These things don't come up very often at all. He did self-publish a book, however, which is right in front of us. It's called A Brush with History. It's beautiful artwork, World War II related. However, it was self-published, limited edition run, so now you have to be a real collector to find them on the market, but look for it. Again, Robert Bailey, you want to look for A Brush with History. Fantastic book. You got to check it out. So good morning, everyone. On today's adventure, we are off to see my friend Josh, aka Ushitan, who's an amazing local artist here. I carry some of his work in our shop. We're going to head out to his studio where he builds and creates some of his work. If you've been in my store, you've probably seen some of his cool sculptures or some of his paintings hanging up on the walls. So today we're going to go to the point of origin where he creates this stuff, see where the magic happens, and check out some of his work.